So the next topic is I wanted to ask you, have you had any friends who've been to jail? Or clients who went to jail?
Yeah.
Or people you worked with who went to jail?
Well, people I work with normally don't go to jail because they're normally quite honest. And if clients, yeah. Well, I got my steel merchant guy. He killed his wife on Christmas Day, 1960.
Yeah.
And
you didn't know him then. You met him many years later.
I knew him many years later. Yeah.
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
One punch. He punched her.
He punched her, and it's like one of those things in the paper at the moment. Yeah. One punch and she was down. And
yeah, she died.
So he was convicted of manslaughter and served jail about 10 years, and then got out and then did something else silly. But eventually he was a free man and but a destroyed man in a sense. And whilst he was in jail, his daughter had a drug overdose.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, and died, and that killed him because he liked his daughter.
Oh, he had a daughter and a son.
Yeah,
his daughter had a drug overdose.
Yeah,
whilst he was in jail. What drug was that?
I don't know, but what they did, when he went to jail, the government took all the money, sold his flats, and he had.
Oh, he owned flats?
Yeah, in New Farm. Yeah.
Oh, you're joking.
A boarding house, he had boarding house flats.
Oh.
And he had other property, so they took all that.
Were they allowed to do that?
Yeah, and they spent the money on looking after his kids. They sent him to private school.
Oh.
His kids went to some Catholic private school.
How did he feel about that?
Oh, he was happy that they were going to private school. All boarding school. Went to boarding school.
Oh, I see. He was quite well off.
He was.
Jeez,
he was he's a hard-working guy. He's really hard-working, and he didn't have any education. He couldn't read or write, but when he got to jail, he learned to read and write. He passed grade 12 English.
Is that right?
Yeah.
You're joking?
Yeah.
And but still, the thing is, you can't really be violent. I mean, if you don't like your wife, you can divorce her. You shouldn't really be punching.
Yeah.
Violence isn't really a.
Well, I think.
I mean, if I tell you the sky's blue, the sky's pink, or the sky's green, and if I punch you, you're going to believe me? Just.
Yeah, but you know what? That's what the whole culture was. You went to school. What did the teacher do?
Whack you.
Caned you.
Yeah.
And hit you.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you learned. You don't agree, you hit somebody.
Yes.
Yeah? And that's the whole...
Well, if you go way back in Australia's history, you do something wrong, they hang you.
They hang you? Well...
They flog you?
They flog you, they hang you. That's right. Flog you, hang you, humiliate you. But even, you go to school, I mean, look what the nuns did to us. They hit you and hit you. Right, they didn't hit you in the head, I suppose. Although some nuns would hit you in the head or throw a book at you. But, but they hit you on the bum or on the hands, see?
Yeah.
And they can't kill you there. They can hurt you, but they can't kill you. And you think about it, if they hit you on the hands and you're a piano player or violin player, what's the answer? What's the result? The nerves become desensitized and you can't play. So...
And the other side of the coin is it's these type of punishments, do they really work to some extent, But I mean, look, it's a tricky thing. But so that guy there went to jail.
Yeah, he went to jail.
So they sold his flats and they educated his kids, but his daughter still went on to drugs.
Yeah, well, yeah.
She died when he was in jail.
Yeah, she died when he was in jail.
How old was she when she died?
Oh, I think 12, 13 or something.
Ooh.
No, probably maybe 12, 13, 15, or 15 perhaps.
My God!
But she died, and then he got out of jail, and then he started a business, and he did very well, but he worked very hard, and but ex-jail people would come and see him and try and use him and because steal from him, but he had a belief, a strong belief that when you're in jail, you believe you don't rat on your friends, you don't rat to the police, you don't rat to the authorities. So even though they stole things, he would never tell the police. He'd try and solve it his own way,
Oh, I see.
But never go to the police. You never trust the police.
Yeah.
And that's probably a lot of truth, because the police in those days especially were very dishonest. They stitched you up, falsified evidence, and Now I don't know. I'm not close to the law system, but in the old days it was very corrupt, and the police commissioner went to jail, and a lot of people went to jail.
You have to hope it's not as bad as that now. I think there's always some corruption. People are human, aren't they?
Yeah, people are human. Well, look at that. Just recently, the Lord Mayor of Ipswich, is something wrong with him, and there's people everywhere that do silly things. You know, in New South Wales, the Labor Party guys are going to jail, went to jail, and in Queensland, same Liberal. It's people from every party and every persuasion, even priests and. There's so many stories of priests.
Some of these people are guilty.
Yeah, well, of course they are. It's a story of people, like in Brisbane, a priest collected money and took it all to Rome to get blessed, and never saw him or the money again.
Yes.
And
that's the story. Yeah.
No, but it's probably true. I think it's true. Why you want to take actual money to Rome to get blessed? I do not know.
That's right. It's a great story. But any other people you know who went to jail?
No, I don't know. Well, I don't really know people who, consciously I don't know people who went to jail. Probably the guy who, landscaping guy and his brother went on that truck.
That was a negligent
because he told the guy to drive this truck and
the brakes weren't working.
And he drove it and killed and died himself.
Died.
So that he went to jail for negligence and for causing death, without. So that was that.
I was actually talking to a prison guard over the weekend, and I was talking to him. I met him at a school fete. His wife's Japanese, and he was saying to me the only people who get rehabilitated are people who go in for like negligence or white collar fraud.
Yeah.
He said your criminal who's there with the jail tattoos and that. He says in out constantly. They go out.
Yeah.
They mix with a bad crowd. They're constantly coming back in again.
No, that's probably true.
It's only really people who have bad luck. When he says bad luck, someone loads a semi-trailer badly and someone dies, and the laws dictate that that person needs to serve. Society demands him to serve time.
Yeah.
That's the only people who really. It's the only people who really come out.
Yeah, I suppose the people who steal money too, because they haven't
it's not corrections. He said once you're in there, it's too late. For a lot of people, once they're in there, it's really far too late.
I have heard cases from prison officers, because we see a lot of prison officers doing tax returns, that the person might have gone in there for something small, like maybe drink driving or not paying fines, and then end up in a prison brawl and end up there for the rest of their life, because they've killed somebody, trying to defend themselves, and they're being stitched up, and they're in there for the rest of their life.
Oh, is that right?
That's extreme cases, but that's what happens. Yeah, see, but if you go there, let's suppose you go in there because you've
for whatever reason,
for some petty reason,
well,
civil
actually,
reason.
Well, what he did say to me is, as soon as you go in there, he said, if you're a clean skinned guy, he said, go to protection.
Yeah.
It's what he said to do.
Oh, you asked him?
Yeah, because what he said is, as soon as you go to normal mainstream prison, they look at you and say, how can we get something out of you?
Oh, yeah.
So what they do is a lot of intimidation, protection racket.
But how can you go to protection? Do you ask?
Yeah, you ask for protection, right?
Yeah.
And what happens is, if normal person goes in, they see that you got people visiting you, they say, right, you're going to put some money into this betting account.
Yeah.
That's what you're going to do. And they'll go and visit you and say, hey, like you say you came to visit me, someone will turn up, a bikie will turn up here, hey, this is the betting account the money needs to go into. I'm a mate of John's.
Is out of jail or in jail?
Well, they got connections out of jail too. They're all connected. They're all they're criminals.
Yeah, they're criminals. Yeah.
He said they're really the lowest of the low. These people are very, very
they are
desperate. Very, very. They're criminals. They're bullies. They're bullies. They are bullies. That's what they intimidate. They are really quite.
They use
everything they can to their advantage.
Every tool in their book to get you and compromise you.
Yeah.
And
so
get you
that's
more trouble than laugh
that's
at you.
that's what it's like inside there. It's very.
Just wondering. How do you do get protection? You ask.
Well, they have protection, but the problem is you end up with all the sex offenders.
Well, they won't attack you.
No, but still, you're mixing with real filth, real grubs, aren't they? Do you really want to be with someone who's molested?
Well, and police officers are in there too, I think, ex-police officers.
Well, there's not that many police officers in there.
No.
It's mainly...
sex offenders,
that's what he said. He said it's never safe in jail.
No.
It's never safe. I mean, it's very, very tricky place there. Very, but it's I suppose the other thing is too is a lot of people don't admit to going to jail. They shut their mouth. It's an embarrassment, isn't it?
Yeah, well,
you don't say, I went to jail. you kind of shut up about it, don't you?
Yeah.
You don't want to.
My client, who is a prison officer, number one, we used to be in charge of a jail. I said, are you afraid when you see people in the street? He said, I see a lot, but nobody talks to me. They just look the other way. Some might give me a nod, but no, they're too embarrassed to come and say, "Hey, how are you?" Look, I remember the time in jail. I was in there for 5 years. They don't want to talk about it. They want to, get on with their lives. You reckon nobody annoys him or anything. You reckon nobody ever says anything to him.
Very interesting.
And in a sense, I mean, there's a lot of cruelty happening in jail, but they respect. It's a tough code, but they respected him that he didn't do bad things to him intentionally. He only did. Sure. They were only like if they didn't follow the rules. Well, suppose somebody had touched them up, perhaps in the old days, but they don't like you, and they stay away from you. Well away.
But a lot of the crime, he said, a lot of it is drug related.
Yeah,
a lot of it is drug related.
That's sad, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, that's just that's just how it goes. That is.
And drug-related crime, they've got no.
I suppose that's why you don't know too many criminals. You don't hang around drug-related people. You're not in the drug scene yourself. You don't use drugs.
Yeah. No,
you don't mix with those people.
Yeah, that's right. And even people who get into a little bit of trouble, do something like pinch something from a shop and that, they don't go around saying, "Hey, I got caught by the police pinching money from the shop," or "I got caught stealing from work." They keep their mouth shut, don't they? They're embarrassed. So you don't know what they know
who it is, do you?
Yeah, you don't.
They try and get on with their life, don't they?
They do, and so really, and it also. See, when you're working like a place like the bank, when I started, they indoctrinated you never mix with anybody who's been to jail or any criminals.
Oh, is that right? They said that to
you? As soon as you do, they really get rid of you. Because what the trouble is, those people work on you, and in the old days, they work out how to steal money from the bank. So if you're working as a teller, in a branch, well, they'd find out where the weakness is, and they come and rob the bank.
Oh, they know there's a fresh delivery at 10:30 most mornings on a Monday or something.
Yeah, and so you had to stay away from these people because that's what they do.
That's the intelligence they try to get from you.
Or they know that at 9 o'clock you come. Say doors open at 10, so they can come at 9 o'clock and get in, and tie you up and get the money and escape. Nobody knows until 10 o'clock, and that gives them an hour to get away.
Yes,
things like that. So, and also they didn't like people who back horses, gamble.
Gamblers.
Because people who gamble obviously then have to support that habit, and they steal. Yeah.
Yes. No. That's a very, very interesting thing there.